Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Sunday. We have had a busy weekend here with a lot of breaking news here at Atlanta News First, and we want to make sure that we are keeping you informed of all of it. You may remember this morning we had breaking news that there was a shooting at a Buckhead nightclub. This was the 1145 Lounge located on Peachtree Road Northwest. During that time, multiple people were shot. 2 individuals were killed. We now know the identities of those 2 people who were killed. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the deceased victims as 20-year-old Nycris Ridley and 21-year-old Mary Creighton. Now, we had Atlanta News First reporter Asia Wilson on the scene this morning. She's going to give you a recap of everything that brought us up to this point, and then we can proceed talking about it further from there. But I do want to make sure we get us up to speed as far as what happened this morning and what investigators are now doing as a result.
I mean, it just seems like it's getting worse. Time goes on, it's definitely not getting better. So something really needs to be done.
Bruce Edelstein's dentist's office is 2 blocks away from where Atlanta police say someone shot 6 people inside the 1145 Lounge in Buckhead around 2:30 Sunday morning.
From what we know, there was a dispute inside the club, a physical altercation that erupted in gunfire.
4 people, 2 men and 2 women, were rushed to the hospital and are expected to survive. But 2 others, a man and a woman, died inside. On this Mother's Day, the woman's mother telling me off camera, her 21-year-old daughter was there with her friends celebrating a birthday.
Well, obviously, I think it's horrific. I do know from living in Atlanta that quite a few incidents happen at nightclubs.
Amy Brown Edelstein lives and works in Buckhead. She tells us she's a part of a Facebook group where they talk about things happening in the area.
Usually all the clubs get mentioned. And the citizens, the neighbors have grave concerns.
I think random crimes are an issue as well as crimes specific to the club.
Atlanta News First found this petition from 2020 where nearly 4,500 people requested the club's closure, saying they feel unsafe. Some business owners telling me off camera they're also fed up.
And so I'm not familiar with what happens after hours, but it's not good. It's not good that there's a club here and that the criminal element is attracted to this area, or any area for that matter.
And as police work to identify the gunman, Edelstein and others have one wish.
Just hope to God that as a society we can do something to curb the violence, the violent acts, and the criminal element in Atlanta, Buckhead, and everywhere.
In Buckhead, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
Now, I do want to reiterate the names of the victims who were killed because we have received that information since the time that Asia went out and did her report. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the 2 people killed as 20-year-old Nycris Ridley and 21-year-old Mary Creighton. Now, this investigation is ongoing. We are working to learn a description of the shooter. At this point, police do not have anyone in custody. Atlanta police say they are reviewing surveillance video from inside of the club for any leads. They say they are also interviewing any surviving victims along with other witnesses to this. So this is very much an ongoing story. We're going to continue to stay on top of this news throughout the evening. Our reporter Joshua Skinner is going to have more in a live report. A quick programming note, you can join us at 6:30 and 11 on Atlanta News First on WANF, and you can join us at 10 tonight on Peachtree TV. In the meantime, you can keep checking back with AtlantaNewsFirst.com. You can also download our free app, and you can get those breaking news notifications sent directly to your phone through push alerts. So sad news to have to report. Of course, this is Mother's Day today, and now 2 mothers out there are without their children. So very sad news to have to report on a Sunday. We will continue to stay on top of this with any developments for you. The next thing I want to do is actually take you to our website. Speaking of, let me pull it up here for another one of our top stories. And this is coming to us from The sports world. Big news for the Atlanta Hawks. They won the NBA draft lottery today, landing the #1 pick and potential cornerstone player in a year where there's really no clear-cut choice. The Hawks hit the jackpot despite just 3% odds after finishing 10th in the Eastern Conference at 36-46. They dropped their final 6 regular season games and lost to the Chicago Bulls in the first round of the play-in tournament. The Hawks have not won a postseason series since a surprising run to the Eastern Conference Finals back in 2021. They got knocked out in the first round in 2022 and 2023. So I'm pulling up our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. We have a whole write-up on this if you want to go and check it out. This is one of our top stories on our website right now. And we have sports anchor Emily Gagnon, who is going to break all of this down for us, what this means for us. Of course, Atlanta News First is your home for the Atlanta Hawks, and we want to stay on top of this very big news. Very exciting for the Hawks. And of course, the NBA draft is coming up in June, so we have to wait a little bit longer. But great to know. Atlanta Hawks winning that #1 pick. So remains to be seen who will be brought onto the roster, but stay tuned. And again, Emily Gagnon going to have more on this later on this evening in our sportscast. You can go to atlantanewsfirst.com and check it out from there. This next big story we have brought to you first as breaking news yesterday on Atlanta News First. We are making sure that we stay on top of any developments when it came to these 3 Atlanta police officers who were shot yesterday. We have some video. This was of the scene yesterday. The update here that we have learned is that one of 3 officers who was shot in that Southwest Atlanta neighborhood yesterday is now out of surgery. That is according to Atlanta police. That officer was out of surgery this morning. The officer, we are told, is awake and talking. The officer's first surgery was a success, and there is a second surgery scheduled for Monday, a police spokesperson told us. Now, another officer is currently in surgery, and a third officer was released from the hospital overnight. The police department had told Atlanta News First, quote, "In moments of adversity, the strength of a community shines brightest. Today, we extend our sincere appreciation to our community partners, local businesses, and fellow law enforcement agencies for their unwavering support." So this happened yesterday at 1430 DeSoto Avenue Southwest. That's in the Capitol View neighborhood. And it happened later in the day yesterday afternoon. According to police, officers responded to that address around 5:15 in the evening, and they say they encountered a man who was armed with a handgun and with a knife. Atlanta police say the man died during a struggle that followed, and in that process, 3 officers were shot and injured. They had to be rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital. The suspect who was killed has not yet been identified. We are told they are awaiting notification of next of kin. We also don't have an identity on these 3 officers yet either. Atlanta police has not released their names. But again, those 3 officers were taken to Grady Memorial Hospital. We know one has undergone 1 surgery and has another anticipated for tomorrow. Another officer also currently undergoing surgery, and a third officer was released overnight. At this point, police say they don't believe they are looking for anybody else involved in it. They believe that the suspect who is responsible is deceased. And once we know the names of these officers, we will bring that to you and keep you updated on their conditions as well. As always, you can continue to check back with atlantanewsfirst.com and our Atlanta News First app. Like I said, we've had a busy weekend here, and unfortunately not in a good way. A lot of breaking stories to have to stay on top of. But reporter Blake Devine, he will be bringing us any new information from that, as well as a statement from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation that he's obtained. So you can join us at 6:30 and 11 on Atlanta News First and at 10 o'clock on Peachtree TV. In the meantime, I want to go ahead and give you a beautiful look outside. Hey, happy Mother's Day out there to all of the mothers, the grandmothers, the mother figures in our lives. We love and appreciate you so much. And I hate to have to bring you sad news on a day like today, but the good news is that it's a beautiful day to get out there and enjoy and spend some time with your family and your loved ones. We have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. He's going to be back here at the First Alert desk tonight at 8, along with anchor Tori Cooper. She will be bringing you any updates to these stories that I brought you previously. Latanya, I see you're joining Denise, who is praying for all the officers. Thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert desk. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and have a great rest of your Sunday.